I have had to rewrite the opening to my script about 3 or 4 times this morning. So every time I turn around, everything has changed. And the main thing that's changing right now, of course, is that Tesla is up $16.21 to 406, which passes the recent high of 404 just set a few days ago. The bond yields are up. Last time I checked, gold is up. Equities are mixed, or they were. NASDAQ, I think, yes, still true. NASDAQ is up and the Dow Jones is down. My gut tells me that the CPI is going to come in a little hot tomorrow. My gut tells me that the Fed will not cut and the market in general is going to go sideways for a while. I continue to believe that Tesla is going to run out of steam here. Maybe it'll get up to 450. That's a possibility. Brian Wong would be very happy because, of course, he's a futurist and he's predicted 450 by the end of the year. And since we're sitting right now at 406, I'd say that there's nothing to stop us from getting to 450 at this point. But I don't think it'll get above 450 unless we have a major catalyst, and that, of course, could come at any time. There is huge good news for Tesla today that would stimulate this big move, and that would be the China numbers came. We'll talk about that in a minute. Multiple analyst upgrades. We'll talk about those. It's going crazy right now. So I'm not sure why the NASDAQ also jumped rapidly, although it could have been partially, Tesla pulling everything up. NVIDIA was up. One thing was that Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company on Tuesday said its sales increased by more than a third in November 2024 compared to a year ago. So that could have, but that was 5:30 Eastern when that came out. I mean, that's hours and hours and hours ago. So anyway, not sure, but let's get into it. So let's start with James Catt. He goes under the Tesla fan MTL symbols on, our handle on X, and he says 21,900 is how many insured units were happening in China last week. It's the second best week ever and easily a record for this week and a quarter. Demand in China is absolutely bonkers. China is carrying the water again and offsetting weakness in the U.S. from a volume perspective. Of course, you realize that at 22,000 per week, that would be way over a million units run rate in China. And most of us are expecting that China's run rate should be at least around 1.1, maybe a little higher. Maybe next year they can hit that kind of a number for the year. This from Yahoo Finance this morning. Tesla shares nudged higher in early Tuesday trading after a Wall Street analyst lifted his rating and price target. And that would be we'll talk about. So Tesla shares, which lagged the broader market for much of the first half as delivery figures lagged and profit margins narrowed, has been one of the strongest post-election performers. Since Election Day, the stock has risen about 60%. That would be a lot more as of this morning, and added nearly $450 billion in market share. Tesla itself, however, could face a series of crosswinds over the next coming months, including a removal of key tax incentives, etc. Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas, one of Wall Street's most influential Tesla analysts and a longtime proponent of the stock's broader value, still sees Tesla as a top pick in the bank's stable of recommendation. Jonas, who in a note published Tuesday lifted his price target by $90 to $400 a share, said the election brought near-term headwinds to U.S. EV sales, but he adds that the group can add and maintain value by ensuring that it does not cede autonomous leadership to geopolitical rivals. The U.S. election result has extended the ICE is nice trade for a bit longer, but keep on the outlook for hidden value in the EV ecosystem into the second half, according to Jonas and his team. We recommend investors stay nimble and selective given the volatility of the policy outcomes, the possible variety, I'm going to add, of policy outcomes. Jonas has in fact argued that Tesla's market value could reach about 1.6 trillion if his bull case for the stock comes to fruition and Musk's involvement with the new administration enables a repricing of its AI ambitions. Musk himself, that would be $500 a share, 600, 550. Musk himself touted the profit potential of AI technologies, particularly with respect to the group's ambition to offer self-driving software to its nearly 7 million global EV fleet. He has said that capital spending would likely rise to around 10 billion this year as a result. Elon Musk's entry into the political sphere has expanded investor thinking around Tesla's fundamental outlook, Jonas was quoted as saying. As we look ahead to fiscal 2025 and over the next 4 years, we expect to see Tesla's total addressable market aperture expand to far wider domains, many of which are not included in the buy-side or sell-side financial models for the company. Tesla's autonomous driving push, which has included new versions of its full self-driving software over the past weeks, is also expected to get a boost from looser regulations that could accelerate its wider adoption. Members of President-elect Trump's transition team have said that implementing a federal framework for fully autonomous vehicles will be one of the Transportation Department's top priorities, according to Garrett Nelson. In our view, quote, Tesla's recent FSD version 13 demonstrates many new features, such as the ability to park autonomously at the end of a planned route and start from FSD from a parked position like in a garage, for instance. He added, we think that such ongoing improvements will help expedite the timing of Tesla's ultimately being granted a federal autonomous driving permit under the new administration. Yeah. This is from investing.com. Cantor Fitzgerald's latest price target increase suggests they do not expect Tesla to hit $500 a share. The firm raised its target on Tesla from to 365 from $255, another $90 increase. The firm said in a note today that they are becoming more bullish on robotaxi and self-driving. However, they remain neutral on the electric vehicles company's valuation and await a better entry point. We're becoming more bullish on Tesla's robotaxi segment, following President-elect's plan, blah, 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 same old, same old. All right, Sawyer Merrick says this morning. CFRA analyst Garrett Nelson has raised his Tesla price target to $450 from $375, a 75% increase, maintaining a buy rating. Gary Black has raised his price target to $380. I think he was at $360. Motley Fool has added Tesla to their top 10 stocks to own. That's a pretty good list of increases in the last 48 hours. Dojo update. In addition to the video on Optimus yesterday, one engineer noted that they fully intend to build thousands of Optimi for useful tasks in 2025. Now, I'm sure I've said this about 20 times at this point, but it bears saying again. My $700 price target for this time next year is based on auto and energy sales and continued positive sentiment for Robotaxi and Optimus. It also assumes at least a neutral stance in the macro. The price could be substantially higher if two things happen. If robotaxis are deployed and the numbers are strong, this number could easily get to 800 to 1,000, as Brian Wong is saying. Then by far the largest, the biggest thing that could happen, if there's an official reveal of Optimus with pricing and with estimates of production, then I'm not sure how to come up with a number. But here's the thing. If either of these two things don't happen by the end of 2025, they will happen sometime in 2026, and the company will be the most valuable company on earth, with the stock trading well into the thousands. So AJ says this morning on his price target of 600, which is 100 less than mine. He says it hinges on just review. All you have to do is review the historical PE trend, including in his analysis. Take the extreme periods like the EV bubble months and the post-Elon selling trough, and you'll see that the multiple is fairly stable in the 65 to 80 range. And that's a wide range, but it's a high multiple, making the range in relative terms not that wide. For me, he says, I believe we need to think, this is AJ talking, we need to think about this is not AJ talking, this is me talking. I think we need to talk about the why of the PE. Why is it in 65 to 80? Why is it 101 right now? Or 100, might be 105, 110 by now. Many will point to expected earnings growth and have formulas for that. In that case, I think it's, but I don't think it's I don't think you can hold on to it that way. I think it's really the optionality on future products and that the potential profits in this particular case are not measurable. This is a proxy for those. Sometimes you'll have an optionality because you can say, oh, well, they'll probably make 10,000 of these or 1,000,000 of these or whatever. That's a rough estimate. And yeah, I'm going to put some optionality on that. In the case of Optimus, we don't know. There's no way to guess. Even with the case of robotaxis, there's a lot of guesses out there. Most famously, of course, by Cathie Wood at ARK Invest, but her optionality is $2,700 a share. So, and that's by 2029. It is not unlike people pay. It is not, you think of it like people that paid, I've talked about this so many times. People paid $100 billion market cap for Rivian before they had a car or a factory. So I think the optionality on robotaxi should be, 200, 300, 400 billion, maybe 500 billion just for the optionality. Anyway, Gary Black, though, he comes in this morning. He says, well, no, he says, no one. 100,000 Optimus units in 2026, which is Randy's number, at 60,000 per unit profit, which is Randy's number, adds $1.37 to Tesla's EPS. 1,000,000 units in 2027 at $60,000 profit per unit would add $13.71 to EPS. The highest Tesla 2026 EPS is $5.66, according, street estimate. Highest Tesla 2027 EPS is $7.56, and he's at $7.70. Highest Tesla Wall Street price target is stifled at $4.11. Well, not anymore. So a bunch of people at $4.50 now. Either tremendous upside potential or tremendous delusion among some investors. So I responded to Gary Black. I said, so Gary, he hasn't responded to me, by the way. So Gary, given the current progress on Optimus and the normal ramp of a vehicle, would you what would your what's your percentage chance of the below estimates, the 100,000 in 2026 and 1,000,000 in 2027? Also, what do you think the profit per Optimus would be given the utility and the likely cost to produce around produce them at around $20,000 per Elon? That's what I'd like to know, Gary. So get back to me on that, because I think 100,000 would be a normal ramp for a car for 1 year and 1,000,000 the second year for Optimus. I think that's an easy one. Sorry, Gary, what's the percentage chance? Okay. And what do you think the profit will be? The utility will be about $200,000 per bot with a $20,000 price tag. And I'm saying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year of profit. This is Randy Kirk. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all that kind of stuff. Hit, join Patreon if you would, an early Christmas present. You could join Patreon and say, Randy, thank you so much for what you do every day. And then in the meantime, if there's another way you'd like to support the channel, that would be with these. So you see, you have this gorgeous box, and the box has got a magnetic, how do I show this? A magnetic opening. Okay, there you go. And when you do that little magnetic opening and you open it up, you get this, actually you get a piece of foam, and you take the foam away and you get this gorgeous looking Cybertruck bottle opener. Okay, you know all the rest. $25 for one, $45 for two, $65 for three. More orders came in yesterday. Thank you very much. That's enough. We got so much to cover. All right. 𝐤𝐽𝐽𝐻 says this morning, central banks bought 60 tons of gold in October. It is the largest monthly net purchase so far in 2024. Meanwhile, China resumed gold purchases in November after a 6-month pause. This year alone, India and Turkey have purchased 77 for India and 72 tons for Turkey. Central banks have now purchased 694 tons of gold year to date, comparable to those levels seen in 2022. Why, he says, are the central banks buying so much gold? All right, NFIB, you know me, this is my favorite report, NFIB, and as I expected, the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index rose by 8 points in November. This was not expected, to 101.7 after 34 months of remaining, I mean, it was expected by me, but not by the street. After 34 months, almost 3 years of remaining below the 50-year average of 98. This is the highest reading since June of 2021. Of the 10 Optimism Index components, 9 of those increased and none decreased, and 1 was unchanged. Following last month's record high of 110, the uncertainty index declined 12 points to 98. So the uncertainty went away. The election results signal a major shift in economic policy, leading to a surge in the quote unquote, leading to a surge in optimism among small business owners, said NFIB chief economist Bill Dunkelberg. Main Street also became more certain about future business conditions following the election, breaking a nearly 3-year streak of record high uncertainty. Owners are particularly hopeful for positive tax and regulation policies that favor strong economic growth as well as relief from inflationary pressures. In addition, small business owners are eager to expand their operation. Key findings include the net percent of owners expecting the economy to improve rose 41 points from October to a net 36%, the highest since June of 2020. This has the greatest impact on the overall increase. The net percent of small business owners believing is a good time to expand their business rose 8 points, highest reading since 2021. The net percent of owners expecting higher real sales volumes rose 18 points to a net 14, the highest reading since February of 2020. A net 5% of owners reported paying a higher rate on their most recent loan. Oh, that's not good. Which is the highest since 2022. 28% plan capital outlays in the next 6 months, up 6 points. The frequency of reports of positive profit trends was a net negative 26, up 7 points from October and the highest reading of this year. 20% of owners reported that inflation was still their single most important problem in operating their business. Higher input and labor costs, down 3 points, though, from October, and surpassing labor quality as the top issue by 1 point. And then finally, 36% of all owners reported job openings they could not fill, but that was up 1 point, but trend line is flattening. So here's the other news of the day breaking just before we came on. Non-farm business sector labor productivity stayed at 2.2% in the revision for the third quarter of 24, according to the Labor Board. Output and hours worked were also unrevised, increasing 3.5% and 1.2% respectively. So then, after all of that, and another 15 minutes has gone by, is Tesla now at $700 a share based on what we were seeing earlier? Let's take a look. All right, still up, still 404. 404 seems to be a number for some reason. It was up a little more than that a few minutes ago. It was like at 16. I kind of noticed out of the corner of my eye at 416, but now we're settling at around $404. And it's tailing off just a little bit. The Dow is improving. It's only down 58, 56 right now. The NASDAQ is up 111. That has come off of its highs, though, as the Dow has been going up. The S&P, $7.95 up. And the Magnificent Seven, 100% on the positive, including Meta up $10. Microsoft up 3, NVIDIA again rebounding, but now tailing off again. So all of this up movement this morning is kind of hitting a top and starting to move down a little bit. The Magnificent Seven the Magnificent Seven, this would be the ARK Invest, the Cathie Wood type stocks. Those are mixed, mostly up. A couple slightly down, PayPal down to 6 cents, for instance. All right, so that's where all of those are. Let's go check out those bonds. We have got, see, this is my nervousness about tomorrow. CPI, I think, is going to come in hot. I think the bond market believes that it's going to come in hot. And so what you've got here is you've got the 10-year up 3.5 basis points this morning. That would put it at 4.234, almost at 4.25, which is my kind of breaking point. You've got the 2-year, same number, up exactly 3.5 basis points, and the 1 month is actually down this morning, down 3.4 basis points, 4.4 versus 4.2. Okay, still hasn't inverted on that 1 month yet, and I still can't see the 2 and the 3 month on this particular. I don't know what happened. They changed their thing. Or I changed it. I don't know who's responsible. All right, oil is flat this morning, sitting at 68.44 for Texas Intermediate. Brent just as flat at 72.12. Natural gas down after the big up move yesterday, down to 0.89%, still above $3, $3.09. Gold up 28 bucks this morning at 27.13, making another run on the all-time high. Same with silver, up 0.21% at 32.68. 34 is not the all-time high as we've talked about, but it is the recent high that wasn't impacted by somebody trying to take over the silver market. All right, copper is down a little bit, but down 0.29 at 4.263. The dollar mixed this morning, and crypto up 331 at 96.9, almost 97. And so that not a lot of activity in crypto today. I'm sorry, in Bitcoin today. All right. Just let me mention again, we are down. Seriously, you will be able, I'm just going to, should I say this or not? I will be shipping anything 3 or more next week, okay, on 3-day, okay? 3 or more, it'll go out by 3-day. So you'll have until about Wednesday of next week to order your Cybertruck bottle openers. But why wait? If you know how many you need, I mean, add up how many people on your list this will be fun for. Add yourself, add 1 or 2 for you, and then make your purchase. Don't forget to let me know whether it's camouflage or whether it's stainless, and then decide whether you want 1 or 2 or 5 or 10. We've had one order for 20 already, so it's not unusual. People are going to give these away as gifts at parties are going to, or for their office, or et cetera, et cetera. So let me know how many you need. You send the money to paypal.me/Randy Kirk. All right, what do we got coming up today? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about this earlier. If you're still here, you'll get to be among the first to know. We have got the regular, Nick Gibbs will be on tonight around the 5:30, right around there is when we'll post that. But what we've got coming up tonight, after that, at about 7:45, Robert Scoble will be on the program for the first time. And he's going to talk about futuristic things, including Tesla. And, Robert Scoble's a major, well, you join us tonight and find out how major Robert is. He is a true, another Brian Wong, who is a very in touch with the entire tech game and a futurist. All right. So join us for that. Oh yeah. Let's take one last look and see how Tesla is faring at this very moment. And what we would see would be $12.80 up, 402.59. I would take that for the end of the day today. That would be, staying above 400 would be a very good sign. And speaking of good signs, yesterday we had a Brian White video. I'll put the card up right here. Brian and I spent all that time talking about the cyber cab and all the things he learned. If you haven't seen any of the videos yet about or if you haven't watched all of them, just watch one. We covered it all in my video. So watch that. That would be, the card is right there. Check it out. You'll really enjoy it. It's been great talking to you.